Hello everyone, this is Suresh from Azure ADB. Today our topic is how to convert seconds or milliseconds into date and time format using from timestamp in Python. So what is this date time dot from timestamp? So we have to import from timestamp from datetime module and it will convert timestamp. So that means if your input has in the form of seconds or milliseconds, that means in Unix Apache form. So we can convert it into datetime object. So syntax is datetime dot from timestamp, and inside that we need to provide timestamp in the form of either seconds or milliseconds. Then you can provide time zone as none. So first, what is this timestamp? So this timestamp can be float or integer value representing in seconds. Since the epoch, so this is our standard from January 1st, 1970 UTC time. So if the timestamp should be in seconds, not in milliseconds. So you had to remember always this timestamp should be in seconds. So if it is in milliseconds, you need to divide it by 1000. And this TG, this is optional. So this is TZ means time zone info. It is like from zone info library, we can import zone info and and by using zone info, you can define the time zone info like uh, America and New York. Okay, so like that. So if nothing is provided, that means TZ is none, then it uses your local time. So first we'll see with one example. So first what I'm doing, I'm importing datetime from datetime module. So first I'm defining timestamp as this integer value. So currently this is in seconds. So how to identify this value? It is in seconds or milliseconds. If you count number of digits, this is total 10 digits. So 10 digits means it is in seconds. So then what we can do is datetime dot from timestamp, and inside that we can pass this value timestamp. So what it does is it will convert this seconds into datetime object. So timestamp. So if your timestamp or in milliseconds like this. So how to identify milliseconds? If you count this number of digits, it should be 13 digits. Then first you need to divide it by 1000. So we'll see one example with this. So first I'm passing timestamp this value. So if you see with if you compared with previous value, this is seconds. So after two zeros are there, and if you see here, we have additional three zeros. So that means total 13 digits are there, and it represents it is in milliseconds. And here I'm using datetime dot from timestamp, and inside that I'm passing this milliseconds value, and I'm dividing by 1000. So then it will convert to seconds, milliseconds to seconds. So if I print this dt, so I will get this datetime value. So summary, so timestamp. So if you see in this syntax, this timestamp value, if you have in seconds, you can use it directly. Suppose if a value is in milliseconds, then first divide it by 1000 before using. So next, handling time zones. So if you see here, we just passed only timestamp value. And if you see in your syntax, we can pass our time zone values also. So we'll see that how to pass that. So up to here, same, we are providing integer value that is in seconds and datetime dot from timestamp. I'm pausing this timestamp here And here I'm defining TZ. TZ means time zone info as time zone dot UTC. That means UTC time zone. So before that, I'm importing time zone here from date time from time zone dot UTC. From time zone, I'm importing UTC. So if I print this is my date time. Since I mentioned here UTC time zone, I'm getting plus zeros. And if I print this time zone name, that is UTC. And if I print TZ info, that is time zone info, that is UTC. So next we'll see how to convert future timestamps. See, this is, so our current year is 2025 April, and April we are at 27, and this is the future date. So we'll see what is this future date, and same thing I'm defining here and I'm pausing here from by using from timestamp, and what it giving is 2027-11. So current we are at 2025, and this is future date 27. So next we'll see how to handle timestamps, native timestamps. So here I have one native timestamp. It is in seconds. If I pass here, so here I'm getting this one, 1966. Okay, so we can get both future date and our previous dates. So next, how to use datetime dot function on top of from timestamp. So first I'm importing datetime and time here. So I'm getting time by using time dot time from time function. I'm getting first I'm getting time. So next I'm printing this particular time, and if you see here, this is my time here current. It is giving in seconds. Okay, so later what I'm doing date time dot date, and I'm using from timestamp, and I'm pausing this value. So that means our current time. So this value I'm pausing here, and if I print this value, what I'm getting is date. So earlier we are mentioning only date time dot from timestamp. So that means that time we are getting both date and time value. So since I used here datetime dot date, we are printing only current date. So today is 2025-04-27. So this is printing only current date. So similar way, getting date corresponding to a specified timestamp. And if you see here, same timestamp passed here. And similarly here, I've used datetime dot dot, and from timestamp, I'm pausing this timestamp here. So here what I used time. So current time I'm paused here, current time. So here what I'm pausing here, I'm manually giving some integer value that is in seconds. So if I pass that, this is my current date. Okay, based on this timestamp, this is my date. So next what I'm doing, I'm importing date. So here what I'm doing, I'm imported only date time, and from date time I imported date. So here how I'm doing is from date time I'm importing date, and that date I'm directly using date dot from timestamp, and I'm pausing this value. This value I'm pausing. So this is my current date. From this, based on this timestamp, this is the date. Okay, so we'll see next how to format. So this is my input timestamp, this Unix timestamp, this is in seconds. And if I use datetime dot from timestamp, and inside that I'm pausing this timestamp, and if I print this, this is my date and time here according to this timestamp. And next I'm formatting by using strf time. So instead of this format, I want in this format. Okay, so since I mentioned as it is year, month, date, so I'm getting same format. So if you want, you can alter this format. So after defining this format, what I'm doing is I'm extracting from this year, month, day. So if I print dt.year, so in this, what is the year? 2022. So here I'm getting here. So similar way, dt.month. So here, what is the month? 4. So month 4 I'm getting. So dt.y. So from here, day, what is the day? 26 I'm getting here. So next, how to handling fractional seconds. See, as of now, we given input as integers. So now, suppose we have decimal timestamps like this, how to handle. So it will handle from timestamp, it will handle decimal values also. If you pass this, see it converted into date and time. And next, what we'll do is, so here I am printing current time. This is my current time in seconds, and that value I am passing here. So if I pass that, I am getting this my date and time. Okay, so earlier, if you see here in this example, time and time. So here you used date time dot date. So here I extracted only date. So here what I'm doing is I'm printing date, full date. Okay, so that is the difference. So next I defined timestamp here. So here I'm comparing with two different functions. One is from timestamp and second one is UTC from timestamp. So here by using from timestamp, I'm getting local time. Okay. So if I use UTC from timestamp, I will get UTC time. Okay. So this is the difference between these two. Next, we'll see handling time zones using PyTZ library. So by default, from timestamp uses the system's local time zone. So if you want to use a different time zone, you can use time zone module here. So here what I'm doing from date time, I'm importing time zone and time delta. So I'm defining here timestamp value in seconds. Then by using datetime dot from timestamp, I'm pausing this timestamp here and I'm defining here a time zone value. So time zone dot UTC. So final, my timestamp value I defined in UTC format, UTC time zone. If I print this based on this value, so this is my date time. And since I mentioned here UTC, it giving plus zeros. And similar way, what I'm doing, first I'm using time zone and I'm adding 5.5 hours additional. So that means if you see UTC plus 5.5 hours, so instead of mentioning time zone name, so here I'm manually mentioning here by using time zone, time delta, 5.5 hours. So next what I'm doing, date time dot from timestamp, and this timestamp, for this timestamp, I'm adding time zone. See, this is UTC time zone, and if you see, this is custom time zone. That means, so instead of defining time zone info, instead of using zone info library, so I'm giving my own custom time zone. So if I give this, see here I'm getting plus 5.5 hours. Okay, so next comparing dates. So I have two timestamps, and what I'm doing, date time dot from timestamp, and I'm pausing first timestamp here and second timestamp here. So I want to compare, like if dt2 is greater than dt1, then print dt2 is after dt1. So what we are getting is dt2, that means this one, this timestamp, that means this timestamp is converted to like this, date and time. So what it telling, dt2 is after this one. That means if you convert this one, this dt1, you are getting this one, 22. So this condition is correct. So 2023 is after 22. Next, converting list of timestamps. So as of now, we given one timestamp. So here what I am giving some list of timestamps. So later what I'm doing, I'm iterating these timestamps. So how I'm iterating? I'm writing my function here, datetime dot from timestamp, and inside that ts. So you can say element I. So for I, or you can say ts in timestamps. So that means in this. So that means a datetime dot from timestamp, and this ts place, first I'm passing this timestamp and it will convert. So you see here for dt, see after converting, I'm iterating this date times. So this date times I'm iterating. So first, if I convert this one by using this, and by default, what it gives a date and time. Okay, date and time format, it will give standard format, ISO format. But since I mentioned here strf time and I need in this format, so it is generating this here. So this is my date and this is my time. Okay, so we have three timestamps and we are getting three date times here. Next, handle invalid timestamps. So if a timestamp is too large or too small, so it might not represent valid date time. So you can catch exceptions and handle them. So that means if you see our timestamp is like this, too large, then sometimes it will throw error if you run this. To handle this one, so I'm writing here try or except method. So datetime dot from timestamp, and I'm passing this timestamp. Since this is not correct, means since this is not working because timestamp is too long. So in except condition, I mentioned as error. So what is this error? Timestamp out of range for platform. So timestamp is out of range. So that means normally this timestamp, as I told initially, so from in this syntax, no datetime dot from timestamp, this timestamp value should be either in seconds or milliseconds. If it is seconds, that timestamp value total, it should be has 10 digits. Okay, 10 digits, or if it is in milliseconds, it should be 13 digits. But if you see here, it is more number of digits. So that means it is out of range. So that's why it is mentioning timestamp is out of range. So that's all about this video on how to convert seconds or milliseconds into date and time using from timestamp in Python. So that's all about this video. If you really like this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you.